The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is a important piece of energy infrastructure for Ukraine. It supplies a large amount of electricity to the country. This is a nuclear power plant that was taken over by the Russians earlier this spring, and it is the source of a lot of shelling and rocket fire between the Russians and the Ukrainians. There haven't been any independent observers to say exactly what has been going on, but ultimately you have a nuclear power plant that is under the control of the Russians, that is being operated by Ukrainians, and is unprecedented in history. It is the longest time a nuclear power plant has been in the middle of an active war zone.
Так, вот только что обстреляли электростанцию буквально на моих глазах.
Workers at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant are under a very difficult situation right now. They go to and from their homes every night. There's about 10% of the workforce that is normally there. Uh, there have been allegations of torture. There have been allegations of abuse by the Russians who control the plant right now. It's a very stressful situation, and that is why there have been calls around the world for IAEA nuclear experts to inspect the plant and try to bring some stability to the area. President Putin and the Russians have accused Ukraine of shelling the plant, and he has said that Russia's control of the area is guaranteeing that another Chernobyl won't happen. That, of course, is a reference to the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear disaster. The Ukrainians completely reject those accusations. They say that they're not shelling. They say the Russians are the ones that are discharging explosives. They say they have evidence that when mortar fire goes off, there's a very short time span between when it's launched and when it's landed. That means it can only be the Russians that are firing upon it.
Це найбільша атомна станція на нашому континенті, і будь-які обстріли цього об'єкту – це відвертий, зухвалий злочин, акт терору.
Ukrainians who live around the plant are, of course, worried by the steady drumbeat of more and more domestic and international actors talking about the possibility for a catastrophic disaster. We've talked to some people who have picked up and left the area out of concern that something was going to happen. We've talked to people who have really hunkered down and decided to stick it out. And beyond Ukraine's borders, it's just a risk that a plant of this size, if something goes wrong, it could really have spillover effects that could be felt for years.